What would you do if you saw your ex while out shopping? Walk by like I ain't know him. And they're like, oh, well, you're never gonna find out if that person's a great person if you're just looking at that. You doggone right I'm not, because that's how you get trapped. What's up, babes? Welcome back to my channel. If this is your very first time here, my name is Maya. Today we are gonna be doing a what would Maya do type of video called Ask Maya. Where did my puppy go? Dior? Oh, there you are, sweetie. Hi. Y'all, keeping an eye on her is crazy. Wanna say hi? Say hi. So I asked you guys on Instagram to give me some of your scenarios, your stories, so that I can answer questions while we do some makeup. It's pretty much just gonna be like a girls' night in type of video. And since it's February, I do have a lot of Black-owned brands that I wanna use today. Starting off with the wine, baby. So I'm doing the Black Girl Magic Red Blend today. So if you at home, sis, go ahead and pour up your wine because I wanted to just like chill and drink wine with you guys. And this video is coming out on Valentine's Day, so in case you are solo doloing it, I want you guys to have something to watch during your alone times. I've tried this one many times before and I absolutely love it, so I felt like this was going to be the perfect wine for the night. Though it's not Black owned. Our Scandal wine glasses as well, and I still feel like it's giving Black girl vibes because Olivia Pope, you know what I'm saying? We also got some Girl Scout cookies. I was just getting some makeup wipes and they were selling Girl Scout cookies. I was like, that's perfect, give it to me. And so we're gonna eat some Girl Scout cookies while we kick it and do some makeup and do some girl chat. A lot of y'all dropped a whole bunch of tea in my DMs, so we finna get into it, y'all. So let's go, girl. All right, y'all. I was just in my DMs and looking at the responses, and I was trying to see if I could organize the questions, but baby, we just gonna roll with it. This video, disclaimer, is not about the makeup. Definitely want to highlight the Black-owned brands that I have here, some of the main ones that I use all the time. So I'm gonna tell you what we're using, but we're not like talking about application or doing any of that. We are just chatting and drinking wine and kicking it, okay? So just a little disclaimer, baby. For brows, we're using the Makeup Revolution Fluffy Brow Duo, and this is in granite. Okay, y'all, so some of these are questions and some of them are scenarios. So we're gonna do both because why not? First question that we got was, what would I do if I had a baby with my ex-husband? Child, I don't know if you talking about you or if you're talking about me. But I'm gonna assume that this is a me question, like, Maya, what would you do if you had a baby with your ex-husband? I would be very sad. Bruh, I would be so sad. Like, I literally thank God every day that I did not get pregnant, because I actually was thinking about it and whoo, Jesus. I can't imagine being divorced, newly divorced, and being pregnant. That would be for the birds. But if I did, outside of me being actually like sad about it, I would roll with the punches. I mean, it's probably obvious, but I had my baby when I was 21 years old and clearly not planned. It definitely was a situation that felt like life was over. I'm using NARS Soft Matte and Amande to sculpt, but obviously life was very much not over, and I thank God for that. But at the moment it seemed horrible, but it didn't stay that way. So I feel like even if I was pregnant in this moment, newly divorced, I would maximize on it, try to get into some sponsorships, try to make make lemonade out of lemons, you know? It would be what it is. Sometimes you just gotta roll with the punches that life hands to you, because what we don't want to do is allow it to stunt our growth and keep us from moving forward, because the time is going to pass anyway, regardless of if we're depressed, upset, annoyed, confused. It's gonna pass anyway. Spend your time being upset and then move on and figure out how can I make the best of the situation. But I think I can speak for both myself and all my internet friends. Cheers to not having a baby by my ex-husband. We're gonna use the Fenty Beauty Even Better Concealer. This one is in 400 Neutral. Okay, so this question slash scenario says, if you were in a talking stage with two guys and both of them are great, how do you choose? First of all, let me preface that to say, y'all, I am entering my roster era. As I get into dating and all of that now, yeah, I very much plan on having a roster just because I think it's great to get to know yourself as a woman as far as what you want and to see what is out there. Now, it's easier said than done. Y'all, not Dior's toy messing up the aesthetic. I'm finna move it. I know that's extra, but I just looked back and it was weird. I feel like it's a great way to get to know yourself and to get to know like different types of men and seeing what's actually out there. I'm using the Fenty Beauty powder in honey to set the eyes. So with that being said, if you have two different men on your roster and it's like, how do you choose one? Number one, who is choosing you? That is the question, because it's like, I don't feel like as women we should be the one to be like, hey, will you be my man, you know? And I definitely wouldn't like drop one of them in case one of them is really like coming hard and standing on business about you, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they're both absolutely amazing, but which one is pushing towards your mind, you know what I'm saying, in the right most best way possible. For eyes, we are going to do a combination of the Rebellious Nudes palette from Colored Rain. All of these palettes are Black owned. That one, also the Uma Beauty Black Magic palette, as well as the LYS Empower palette. We're gonna use this for a liner. So yeah, that would be my number one thing that I would say. Number one is, who is choosing you? Who is giving that you my baby, you my woman type energy, and who's making you feel more special? Who is really catering to what it is that you need, standing on business, a man of his word, woo woo woo. Because I feel like that can be comparable. No two people are the same, right? But I also would look at and be extremely honest with myself about what it is that I want for myself and for my future, and which man fits that bill better. I would say as women, but I feel as people, we tend to give people the benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there are people that we could be dating that they might not clearly does not meet your criteria, but it's like, oh, but they're a great person, but oh, this is great and it's hard to find in a man. I found it in him, and so I'll compromise on that. You know, we do that. So I would 100% say that now is the time to be picky and to be really honest with yourself about what you want out of a man, out of a relationship, and really be picky about who is providing it. Before I keep going, y'all, I forgot to give a disclaimer. I ain't no therapist. I ain't no expert on nothing. I make my mistakes and I'm still learning in life. I will be answering these questions based on my own personal experience or things I've learned and whatever up until this point, based on what I would do in this situation, period. So I could say something you don't agree with, sis, it's fine. We're different people. We're coming from different viewpoints, different lives, different experiences. I just have to throw that out there because, you know, comment police. And also, though I'm giving my personal advice of what I would do, does not mean that it's the best decision for you. So if this was your scenario or you have something similar, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to listen to me, obviously. This is me just kikiing it up with y'all and sharing my personal opinion. Because every situation can have details that I don't know nothing about that can change the whole situation. So also, the last thing I would say for this one is, it highly depends on what your goal is. Not everyone is out here dating for marriage. Some people are out here having fun. You know what I'm saying? Some people just want a relationship, but you're not necessarily looking to get married in the next few years. So that can determine how you move in this situation as well. And I think that that should 100% be considered when you're deciding who it is that you want to be with, because some people might be husband material, some might be let's kick it and get drinks and hang out material, and it really truly does depend on what your goals are as a woman. But I get like not wanting to regret the decision. Who wants to regret something like that? You know, because it's not like you could break up with the dude in 3 months and come back to the other dude and be like, what's up? He is going to feel real used and real number two, and nobody wants to feel like that. All right, next scenario. What would you do with a man that is inconsistent and only hits you up once in a blue moon? ignore him and cut off access. I'm really big about people showing you who they are. I actually have a girlfriend who went through this type of situation recently. He literally just like would disappear. Eventually he would pop up and be like, oh, well, I'm going through this or I'm going through that and I just needed a moment, or I isolate, you know, when I'm going through things and whatever. And when I tell y'all it happened, like she kept giving him chances and it happened, I think like 2 or 3 times. And my advice to her was, sis, this is who he is. So at this moment, if you're continuing to, of course you like him, you know, whatever. But if we continue to give that attention to someone who is clearly moving in a way that we're not okay with, we're giving them permission to do that and continue to do that, you know? Cause it's like, you can't get mad later on. If you really like him, you give him a chance and eventually he's like, yeah, okay, let's do this. And 3 months later, he does the same thing and now he kind of disappears. You honestly low-key can't like get mad unless you get up and leave. You can't, like, you can only be upset with yourself because the dude has already told you who he is. If you are okay with dealing with a man who moves in that way, then girl, then you keep talking to him. But if you don't want inconsistency and you know that you wouldn't treat him like that, and it sounds like you would be giving a whole lot and he'll be giving a lot less, I'm big about not ghosting, so, cause I feel like why not just let somebody know so they don't have to be thinking about it. Let him know, look, this is not gonna work for me. And if you're gonna say that, stand on it and don't backtrack. Let him go, cause you just signing up for a long time of misery cause you already don't like it. It's not gonna stop, more than likely. There's always exceptions to the rules, you gotta say that, but more than likely it ain't gonna stop. So I am about to do a pink liner, y'all. I'm gonna go in with this Color Fix Waterproof Matte Liquid Pigment. This is from Danessa Merrick's, another Black-owned business. So this is at Sephora, and I'm actually gonna put this on my hand and I'm gonna like create a liner. And then on top of that, I'm gonna go in with the pink pigment from this LYS palette that I mentioned earlier. Okay, next, my good sis said, child, I thought this was a mirror. Y'all didn't see that. My good sis said that she has been talking to an ex for over a year, but there are no talks of being in a relationship or him wanting to date me. Should I be patient or let it go? Based on the last question, I think you already know what I'm gonna say, sis. I say, I'm gonna zoom y'all in real quick so y'all can see this eye while we do it. But I say 100% let it go. Because here's the thing, y'all. Men are not stupid. They not stupid. Like, you're not stupid, sir. You're a grown man. You're not dumb. Like, you know if you want me, if you like me. And y'all know we hear stuff about men knowing what they want, like, within a few months. And also the key word here is he's your ex. Which to me says that he decided to spin the block and come back for whatever reason. It's because he felt like you were available, and clearly you might be the one who is okay with him not making a serious commitment. Like, men know what they're doing. They know what they can get out of us. They know who to call for what. And it's possible that he want that companionship without the commitment. So that's why he's sticking around. Possibly. I would say definitely do not be patient. I say walk away. Now, some ladies would probably say, hey, speak your mind, let him know what it is that you want. But I can't imagine it being over a year and he doesn't know that you want a relationship. And if you guys have never actually had that conversation, that's another problem, because we always got to be clear, or I'm always clear about what my intentions are. I feel like that's one of the first conversations. And if he's your ex, I'm sure he knows that you probably want to be in a relationship. So I would not be patient. I would disappear. However, here's the thing. Once you disappear, I 100% believe he's gonna come back and be like, cause you know, usually men, they don't jump until you disappear, until you're gone, which is the most craziest thing ever. But it is what it is. So I'm telling you, he's gonna disappear and then he'll come back and then he'll be like, so now I'm ready. Ugh, get away from me. Like, honestly, get away from me. Men don't know what they have until it's gone, which I feel like they do know what they have. They just want to see how much they can get away with. If you do go, just be prepared that more than likely he's gonna spin the block and be like, yeah, so I would love to be in a relationship with you. But then it's up to you. And if it was me, I wouldn't bite. Sir, you have had plenty of a chance. The first relationship plus this whole year that I've entertained you, no. Where was this energy before? It's all about me leaving. It's all about me leaving. And it's gonna be a no for me. Cause you're not about to waste even more years of my life with this BS. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do not have time for it. But maybe you do got a little time. You know what I'm saying? If you got a little time, sis, go ahead. But just know, time will be 100% wasted. Popping on some lashes. These are from Lily Lashes. They actually just came out with a line of lashes with an invisible band, and these are from that line. By the way, everything will be linked below. All right, y'all, I'm loving the eyes. Very subtle, yet, you know, it's giving Valentine's Day. For primer, we're gonna use the LYS Secure Skin Gripping Serum Primer. And I would compare this to the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. Absolutely love it. Next question. If you saw your friend's husband cheating, would you tell her or stay out of it? I personally would 100% tell my friend. Because here's the thing. Yes, there's a thing about women getting upset with the friend who let them know, which I feel like is completely misplaced anger. I think mostly it's because that woman probably doesn't believe that it's happening, so they think you're being a hater, when if you're actually telling the truth, you're looking out for your sis, right? But I would risk her being upset, because if you don't tell her, now you have betrayed your friend because you knew something very, very vital to her life and her happiness, you know, in her daily life that you said nothing about, because it was like, oh girl, I mean, what you gonna say? Oh girl, I figured she was gonna be mad at me. And like, no, I would 100% say something. 100%. If she finds out that it's true, she won't be mad at you no more. I mean, she might still think you're a hater, but that says more about your friend than it does about you. And then you need to like reevaluate some of the friendship, because it's like, sis, I literally was looking out for you. So yes, I would say something. We're gonna use the LYS Triple Fix Serum Foundation today. And the shade that I have is DN6. Picking between your friend of 10 plus years or your relationship with your man. The very first thing that stands out to me on this is, why do you have to choose? Also, my first thought is the friend a guy? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, why would this be a problem? Like, who is it that is demanding that you choose, number one, and why? Regardless of who it is, why do they want you to choose? I would figure that out and really, really look clearly. I would look really, really clearly at that reasoning, because no one, I believe, neither one of them should be requiring you to choose. Now, if it's a situation where they're not getting along and, you know, someone's upset with someone, I feel like on this one I might need more information. But if you have a friendship that is so dear to your heart and you've been friends for so long and they don't get along with your man, personally, depending on how bad the disrespect was or the problem is, if it's not that bad, I would keep them apart. I would try to figure that out first. And if that's not doable, I mean, I can't even really say choose one or the other because I don't know all the information. But I just feel like you should focus on why it is that someone is demanding you to choose. Like, that's a problem. You shouldn't have to choose between your friends and your man. That's a red flag on whichever one of them are requiring that of you, if the issue is not big enough. You know what I'm saying? The issue's big enough. You need to be asking Jesus or your therapist. Not even your therapist. I would ask the Lord. But I don't know, girl. I feel like that is that's a touchy situation. That's very, very touchy. Because I have friends that we've been friends for over 20 years. I would not drop my friends for my man. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be like, oh, I choose them over you. It'd be like, you're here, I love you, and those are my friends, and they're not going anywhere. So If you choose to leave me because I'm not going to get rid of my friends, that's on you. But I want to keep my friends that are very, very dear to me, because that's a controlling situation if the issue is not big enough. I gotta keep saying that because I don't know the situation. But if the issue is not big enough, no. You're not about to try to control my life and pull me away from my friends. No, bruh, you're gonna have to move aside. And if it's the friend and the situation isn't big enough, baby, they might be jealous. They might be jealous of you. Even if it's a man. If it's a man, he might want you. If it's a girl, she might be jealous of your relationship. Now, I'm just throwing things out. I don't know the tea for real, but that's just what comes to my mind. For concealer, we're going into the We're Even concealers. The first one I'm going to use is in 400N, and the second one we're going to use is in 350. Okay, next, basic signs to move on from a man. Now, I feel like this is very relative because you really got to know what's going on in order to give advice or say what I would do in this situation. But we're just gonna be very basic, so I added in the basic part. I'm just gonna keep it very basic and just give some general girl you should leave advice. Or what I would do to move on from a man. Because obviously your girl does that. Because I've told you guys, even though, you know, more recently you guys have seen me file for divorce and everything after, you know, being married for a short amount of time. But before my ex-husband, y'all, I've mentioned this to y'all before. Baby, we out of there. And I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I ain't trying to tell y'all my business, but I just got rid of somebody today. We was talking for like 4 days. I don't have no problems moving on from you, sir. Period. Because back before I got married, y'all, it took me about a month. Or it wasn't intentionally I was giving him a month, but it was like, it took about a month for me to see, like, really get to know you, to know enough to say, hey, this isn't gonna work for me. You're, you know, certain parts of you or who you are, your character, whatever, doesn't work for me in my future. And usually I would let dudes know. I don't ghost, like I said earlier, but I would this is perfect because I'm letting my concealer dry down a little bit while we talking. Anyway, I would, not intentionally, but it would take about a month really to really get to know somebody, and then I would let them know. I would text them and be like, hey, I don't think it's gonna work out for me. We shouldn't pursue this. It was really nice to meet you. If they asked me, I would let them know. Sometimes they asked me, sometimes they didn't. But if they wanted to know, I would tell them. But anyway, side note. For me, since I have a lot of experience in this, the number one thing I would say is if they are not meeting your personal standard. Now, this could be whether you have voiced that standard or not. Like, sometimes I will have a standard for myself. Usually I will voice them, but some things you just don't voice. Like, when does it come up in conversation that I would love if you did not ghost me when you're going through something? Sometimes that just won't come up. But if they're doing it within the relationship, eventually you get to know them enough, it's been about a year, or it's been about 6 months or so and they're doing it, it's like that's not something we actually had the chance to talk about, you know? So whether it's something that you have had the conversation about, or if it's something like that where it popped up and you know for yourself that's a deal breaker in the moment, that is a reason to walk away. Because I am all about this year, especially this year and in this season of my life, standing on business and doing what you need for you. I am a recovering people pleaser and someone who would really compromise myself and my standards and my happiness for the sake of someone else's. And if someone else is doing something that's compromising my happiness to the point where I cannot like I can't move forward, then it's gonna be a no for me. Now, there are situations where, you know, you can be like, let me speak up. Let me tell them, you know, what they're doing that I don't like, especially things that you didn't necessarily voice. So if it's that situation, if he's, you know, ghosting or whatever, and then pops up 2 weeks later, oh, I'm so sorry, woo, woo, woo. You can take it upon yourself to be like, hey, I'm not cool with this. Like, this is not okay with me for you to do that. I would really love for you to let me know. before you disappear like that. It means something to me. And now that they know the standard, if they do not abide by it, because something like that, that's easy to abide by, right? It don't take nothing but a second to text somebody, hey, I need some time. Then that is a reason to walk away. Because like I said earlier, they're gonna keep doing it. They're gonna keep doing it because it's who they are. And when people tell you who they are, y'all can finish the sentence. Believe them. While this is sitting down, y'all, I'm gonna go into Fenty again. I think I'm gonna use, I'm trying to think, do I wanna use a matchstick or the cream bronzer? I did a makeup tutorial earlier, I used a cream bronzer, so no, I'm gonna do the cream bronzer again. So this is the Cheeks Out Cream Bronzer from Fenty Beauty, and this is in chocolate. Okay, so another reason for me to walk away from a man would be selfishness. If a man is selfish, child, baby, we gotta go. It's time to go. Selfishness is so multidimensional. It can mean so many things that would be negative for your life moving forward. Selfishness is a no-go. Like, that's a deal breaker. I'm not about to deal with a selfish man because I've dealt with a selfish man before and it was devastating for me in my life. So that's another reason I would leave. But I will also say, when we're talking about reasons to go, more of a general, you know, type of idea, I would leave if I am starting to feel personally like I am losing myself. I'm gonna say specifically women who are dating a man, because I understand that in marriage sometimes that can happen. When I look at it, I feel like there's two different aspects to look at that. You can lose yourself, like, oh, I feel like all I am is a mother, or all I am is a wife, or all I do is work. I don't have time for myself. I'm losing myself. I'm gaining weight. I feel bad about myself. I need to get me back. That's one part of losing yourself, right? There's another part of losing yourself, which is how I felt before I filed for divorce, is where you are like, I don't recognize myself in the mirror. It's not about weight, even though that could be a part of it. It's not about anything like that. It's about, I'm allowing some things that is making me feel less than because of this man. Does that make sense? Like, I don't even know who I am anymore because of everything I've sacrificed for you and that I put aside, even though I didn't want to and it doesn't align with what I want. At this point, I don't recognize myself. And that's another way of losing yourself. And that's the one that I'm talking about. Because though it's not great when we lose ourselves in the other way, I feel like as a woman, as a wife, as a mother, that's part of the journey. And you got to figure out how to come up out of that, how to, you know, refocus to make sure you're not losing your personal identity within your life. That's not about being unhappy in your relationship. That's about being overwhelmed. But this one is like overwhelmed plus some. It's like I'm compromising who I am as a person so that you're good. And that's a no. That is a sure sign, for sure sign to walk away from a man. And if you see it happening, baby, run for the hills, baby. Don't be like me. Actually, do be like me, because I left. I didn't let that linger too long. And I feel like sometimes women do let it linger because they have children, or you want to save face. You don't want people to see certain things. And people will stay in very unhappy situations forever. But I'm actually very proud of myself that I moved away from that. So I'll take that back, baby. Do be like me. There's so much more I can say about that, but we're gonna just leave it there. I'm gonna use the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Powder, and this is in Banana. I'm gonna use this to set my conceal areas. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Because we're gonna do blush first. So I love this Rare Beauty blush, y'all. Love it. If you check out my shorts, I have one where I'm doing it in natural light and I use this. But One Size, Patrick Starr just came out with another one, and I felt like this was really cute to use for Valentine's Day. So I'm gonna go into the cream. It's a cream blush, a powder blush, and then a highlighter. Okay, y'all, so here is our next scenario. What to do when having to live with an ex because he is the financial provider for myself and our kids. He has been for all of my life. I am feeling stuck and want to detach. I want independence, but I don't know how or where to start. Okay, so sis, you said that he is a ex. So I mean, you're not together, you're not married. And that's tough too because you have children as well. You know, that always complicates the situation. Okay, y'all, I love this blush. Now we can go in with powder. My first move, and sis, obviously, I don't know what your story is. I don't know what you have and have not done, but I'm just gonna throw out what my first thought would be as far as what I would do. I would reach out to any family that I know and trust to see if they could help us out. I understand that he might be the father of your children and he might want the kids there and everything like that, but I would 100% reach out to like family or friends and be like, hey y'all, this is the amount of time I need. Can I stay with you? Number one, that's my first move. Whether you can do that or not, I would be hustling. Sis, I would be trying to figure out how to get this money. And I'm gonna be honest with you, girl. You're talking to a content creator. Baby, get on this internet. Get on Beyonce's internet and figure out how to make some money online. There's a lot of money being left on the table, and I'm gonna say that even for myself. I feel like there's even more money that I could possibly be making. There are so many, and I'm not gonna say easy because you always gotta put some work in to get something worth having. However, there's so many avenues. So sis, I would do some research. I would look up drop shipping. I would look up, you know, digital products. I would look up all of these things to figure out what can I do besides a 9-to-5 or a job that I'm already working, because obviously that's going to take a while to really build up the money that you need. I would look deep into it and get going, get started, because if you have an internet connection and a phone, that's all you need to really make some money online. It might take some time and some effort, but on the back end, even if you don't want to let them know, I would be working on that for myself and my children. And if somebody can't help me and take me and my babies in, I'm gonna be stacking behind closed doors. And I forgot to tell y'all, I'm using my Mented powder in like a skin tone powder. What color is this? Medium deep to set the rest of the face. Also Black owned. Do what you need to do for you and your babies so that you can have your independence, because what we don't want is for men to feel like they run our lives and that you can't make a move and you can't jump without their permission. Absolutely not. Okay, similar situation, not the same, but similar. I am fresh out of a 4.5-year relationship. I'm now a single mom of 2, working 2 jobs after being a stay-at-home mom for the entire relationship. The split was ugly and he hasn't offered me any financial help. I am angry, I'm hurt, and I sometimes worry that things won't get better. What would Maya do? I'm gonna use the Mented bronzer. This is in Yacht Life. And clearly, baby, she has been ran through. Okay, so number one, since you're already working, you know, 2 jobs, so you have money building up. So I'm happy for that. Make sure you're on top of your finances so that you have what you need. That's what I would do. I would be very frugal when it comes to my money to make sure me and my babies are good and that I can get in a better situation. Unfortunately, in this situation, I wouldn't be able to help the fact that he's not helping me financially, and that would be extremely hurtful. But I'm gonna go ahead and piggyback off of what I just said before about looking into internet finances, because there's so much out there that you can do that maybe you might not know about. Do your research, figure that out. First of all, before I move on and say what I'm about to say, your feelings are valid, and he sucks for not helping you out in this season, because especially since it was an ugly breakup, it just sucks that you don't have what you need now after taking care of his children full time. But anyway, what I will say for all of us, including myself, yeah, I am all for a man being a provider. All for it, 100%, especially after the situation I just got out of. Though I'm not giving no details of that, I was 100% the breadwinner in that situation, which I feel was obvious. I would not recommend being the breadwinner, first of all. Second of all, I say that to say I do believe in the man being a provider, but I do not believe in women having nothing. I feel like if a man is, you know, a masculine man, he is aware of what God charged him to do, to be a provider and a protector of his family, then that man wants to do that. However, I don't think that man would be against you having your own thing. Maybe he might want you to stay home so that you can be available for the children. You know, that's one thing. But I don't think that man would be against you having something on the side or something you do while the kids are at daycare or while the kids are at school, depending on the age, you know, even if you don't do daycare. I believe that the right type of man like that wouldn't have a problem with that. So I say that to say, I think we need to have our own thing and be saving our own money when we're getting in these situations with these men and not allowing them to completely control your well-being. Because in this world, that's what it is. If you don't have money, you can't survive in a good way. You can't. And especially if you have children, you don't want them to be living like that, you know? So I say that to say, I'm all for women having their own money, regardless of if their man is the breadwinner. You should have your own thing going on where you have your own money. And I know men who are like this, and their attitude is, oh baby, your money is your money. My money is our money. And that's the kind of man to have, okay? But that's a preventative measure. And I just say that because I felt like that was the moment to say it. However, for my sisters who, you know, are in situations where they did not do that and they're trying to get out of being under a man's thumb or trying to build for themselves after being in that situation, sis, please look into the internet. Girl, you got a lot of money coming for you if you're serious about it and you can really like do it. And also take full advantage of the help that is available to you. And that includes government assistance. I was struggling financially back in the day. I was on TANF. It's welfare is the same thing. I was on TANF. I was on food stamps. I was on WIC. Child, I was on all the things. And I thank God for that season because I would not have made it without it. Take full advantage of what the government can do for you as well in this season because you need it. But don't see it as your end all be all. Use it to get to the next step because that's really what it's for. Hey Maya, I live with my husband and my sister-in-law due to her mom living in Africa. However, she started sneaking her boyfriend in our home. We even woke up one day to her boyfriend taking a shower in our bathroom, child. While she was out at work, she wasn't even there. She has had her friend get involved and call my husband saying, get your wife, and a bunch of disrespectful things. My husband has spoke to his sister about this and she apologized, but she honestly just brings a negative energy to the house and her attitude. She's rude to me and my husband and feels like she can do whatever she wants. I really can't take it anymore. And at this point, I don't want her staying with us anymore and have brought this up to my husband and he doesn't want her to leave, which I understand, but it's causing issues in our marriage. What should I do? Ooh, child. Honestly, things are really hard when it comes to like family because it's hard to make that decision. But one thing stands true. And sis, I don't know if you are a Christian, but my Bible says a man shall leave his mother and father and cling to his wife. And to me, that doesn't just mean mother and father. You're definitely leaving siblings. So I feel like that's a notch down from parents. So I say that to say, for me personally, I believe that your husband should be valuing you. Now, this is hard for me to say, y'all, because last thing I want to do is come between somebody's marriage, child, okay? But that's the nature of the video. It's Ask Maya, so I'm going to say it. But let me just say a disclaimer to say, sis, this is your situation. That's your husband. That's his sister. It's a sensitive matter. What I say with a very small grain of salt, because this is your life, okay? This is your life, and I only know what you just typed to me. So, me personally, if I was in the situation, I would very much feel as though my husband is not valuing me and my opinion and or putting me first in the situation. I'm unhappy in my home. You know, this is my home. Like, I am the matriarch of this home and this is my happiness, this is my everyday. This is your home. It's the happiness that I'm providing for you. And the vibes are off and it's because of your sister. So I 100% would let my husband know that she's gotta go. Because at the end of the day, I believe that he should be focusing on your happiness. Because for me, if my brother or someone in my family came in and they're causing havoc in my home, you've got to go. I don't care if it's my mom. I don't care if it's my sister. I don't care if it's my brother. You're causing problems in my home. And that is how God designed it. You leave your mother and father and you create this family with your husband, with your wife, and your children. And at that moment of commitment, that comes first over that previous family. That's me. That's what I believe. And that's what I would do. I get that you love your family. I get that you love your sibling, but we got to do something about this. This is not gonna work for me. For highlighter, y'all, we're gonna use the LYS Beauty Aim High Pressed Highlighter Powder. This is in Fearless Warm Bronze. Okay, this next one says, I'm dating a man, long distance, and he came for a weekend trip, but you still want to practice celibacy. What would Maya do? Y'all, I ain't gonna lie to you. At this point in my life, sex sounds horrible. With somebody that is random and not like the love of my life, that sounds like a nightmare. So in this part of my life, I would make sure, I would make sure that if they come for a weekend trip, that they have their hotel so that I don't put myself in the situation where we have sex. Honestly, for me, especially now that I'm single and I am back celibate, I don't think I've ever like told you guys that, but obviously I'm back celibate. So at this point, it's been about 6 months since I've had sex, which, you know, last time was with my ex-husband. But when I'm single and I'm celibate, I am very careful to make sure I don't put myself in situations where it's easy to break my celibacy. When you invite men to your house, or you go to their house, or, you know, you're in a dark room, car, whatever, late at night, whatever, you know how the grandma say, at 2 a.m. ain't nothing open but legs. So that is not time you need to be with that man. Period. You gotta have some standards of what time you stop, what time you get off the phone, what time you go home. Like, you gotta have that when you're celibate, because you have to protect yourself. Make sure he has a hotel and that he's not sleeping with you. Depending on how strong you are, you know, you can say, hey, you can sleep on my couch, but most of us are not that strong. Let's just be honest, sis. We keeping it real. We are keeping it real today. Most of us are not that strong. You got a fine man laying on your couch at 2 a.m. and you in your room, you like, oh honey, I need some cuddles. You know what I'm saying? And cuddles probably won't stop there. You literally have to take steps to protect yourself. Now I will say, because I think it's real obvious, that I had a out the country trip with my ex-husband before we got married, that you guys were along with us when we went to Santorini and Paris, and we 100% slept in the same bed and 100% struggled in that area. That's what I'm gonna say. Not to say we went all the way, but it was a struggle. Had I not put myself in that situation, that would not have happened. Now, it's a lot more expensive you going out the country to get different rooms and all of these things, or, you know, places with multiple bedrooms and actually standing on that business. It's probably best not to go on the trip at all until you're married. But that would be my advice, to be very careful of the situations that you're putting yourself in when you have a commitment to yourself and to God. Because the truth of the matter is, God put sexuality in us. He's the one who made us like this. It's there. But we have to protect it. I am gonna spray my face with my Urban Decay Nighter Setting Spray. I hope I didn't miss no steps, child, because it's very likely that I did. But I said everything else out so that I wouldn't miss no steps. Baby, this wine, child. We are going with a pink lip today, you guys. We are going to use this LYS Speak Love Lip. This is in Admired. So my good sis says, hi, a family member is in town and wants to hang out, but you're not up for it. Tell them no. Period, point blank. You have complete control over the happiness, your happiness in your own house, okay? Tell them it's not gonna happen. If you feel the need to give them an excuse, sure, but you really don't owe them one. Period, point blank. We gotta get used to standing on business and knowing that our reasons are valid. What would you do if you saw your ex while out shopping? Walk by like I ain't know him. No, that's not true. I don't know if I would speak. If he speaks, I'll speak back. But if he don't, I'm gonna keep walking, because get away from me. That's horrible. But let's just be honest. Oh Lord, I do not condone this. Be nice, y'all. Be nice to your ex if you see him outside. Okay, next one says, what would Maya do if she had a baby by her ex-husband and you moved to another state, but he won the case with the child? It's been 6 years. Your child has been with his dad, and when school is out, would you move back to the other state to be with your child fully? I would 100% go back to be with my baby. It really depends on what you want for your life and what you see for your life. But as a mother, for me personally, I couldn't live, or I wouldn't want to live away from my baby. Whatever it is I want to do, I would try to figure out how to do that where my child is. That's me. That's my priority. It doesn't have to be everyone else's, but that's what mine is. So the next one says, when an ex tries to spin the block, I'm a changed man now. No, you're not. Because let me tell you something about the experience I got with this, okay? I'm gonna have to go let Amira in. Y'all, she coming home from her daddy house. I'm gonna have to fill up my wine. So I'm gonna be right back. Hold up, because we gonna talk about it. So it never ceases to amaze me how men will spin the block to come back after you done left them, after it's over, after they have given you a very good reason to freaking leave, and then it's like, oh baby, I'm changed now, I'm done, it's over, I'm whatever. No sir, let me tell you what you've done. Now yes, there are exceptions to the rules. I believe there could be men that have changed. They really saw what they had and they really made a change to do better, but most of them did not. Most of them, I have to say, they realized that you were probably the best thing for them and they decided that I'm gonna be the man that she wants me to be. But the problem is, you're doing it for me, you're not doing it for you. And when you do something like that drastic to change yourself for someone else, you didn't really change. It's very conditional. So it's like, as long as you'll be my woman, as long as we gonna be together, I'm gonna try to be this person. But the problem is, even as long as you're together, that doesn't mean it's gonna last. Eventually, who you actually are, what you actually believe, is going to come through. And I know this from experience. Y'all, some of y'all remember, if y'all OGs, before I got married, I was with a guy for 3.5 years. And 3 years into it, I was done. Big done. This is enough for me. Dumped the guy. He worked real hard to get me back in 2 weeks, saying this has changed, that has changed, whatever. I noticed the hard work. I'm like, okay, cool. Took him back. He made those changes, but only for a couple of months. Because after them couple of months, baby, he was right back being exactly who he was. Because he made the change to get me back, to get his life back, to get back comfortable. Not because his mindset about these things has actually changed. Not because he felt like this was the right thing to do, to be the right man for himself and then for me. You did it for the wrong reasons. So you went back. And then I dumped them for good. And then 2 weeks later, he tried to propose to me. Another version, extreme version of spinning the block. No, sir. You don't really, like, you might want me, but you don't believe this change actually needs to happen. So it's a no for me. It's a no for me. All right, y'all, Amira just got here and she about to come get Dior. I'm trying to slick my edges back down because I gotta take pictures of this look and take pictures for the thumbnail. And I want my edges to be slicked. But I've been sweating, girl. I have been sweating this whole time. Wait, where's my edge brush? Maya, where's your edge brush? Slow down, you're fine. You're fine, where is it? I don't know why, I be so hot when I'm filming, y'all. I'll be super hot. Okay, the edges are a little bit more slick right now, so we can continue. We're gonna do a couple more, y'all, before we end the video. We got our wine. Let's find a couple more. So my good sis says she has a lot of pressure from her parents to get married, but she's not meeting men that meet her standards. Y'all don't mind Dior. She is crying. I know. Come here. You wanna sit with me? I think she's coming. Here she comes. There she is. Don't take her. She got a potty. Take that baby to potty.
Where's my water?
You mean where's my water?
Where's your water?
Go get your own water, bruh. You have fun at your dad's house? Take it, Dior. I gotta finish filming. What you got, Docio? That's what I got. With the peanut butter at the top.
She has some wine when she's 21 months.
No, she can't. No, she can't have no wine when she's 21 months. Say hi, Dior. That's a beautiful baby. Hello. We love that baby so much. We love that baby so much. You had a lot of playtime today. You're gonna really sleep good tonight, sweetie. Take her to potty, please. You hear me?
No.
Okay. America's crazy, y'all. Pressure from parents to get married, but not meeting men that meet your standards. Girl, do not allow anyone, and I mean no one, not even your parents, to put pressure on you to get married. To the point where you marry someone who is below your standards or does not meet the standards that you set for yourself. It is not worth it. You could most definitely be opening yourself up to a very miserable life and existence. I most definitely, after being married, having the experience, realize why they say that the person you choose to connect your life with as a spouse is probably one of the most top 2 decisions that you would make in your entire life. And if you ask me, the pressure from anybody else to jump in that situation when it's not right is not worth it. It is 100% not worth it. Your parents are just gonna have to chill for a second until you find someone who really can meet your standards, because it's so much bigger than what it seems. Like for me, when I'm dating, and before when I was dating, and it was a lot of, like I said earlier, giving the benefit of the doubt, giving the, oh, it's fine because this, that, and the other align. It's not fine. It's not fine. It might seem fine in that moment, but let's not forget, you talking about marriage, y'all gonna be together for 2, 5, 10, 20, 50 years. If it's not okay then, it's never gonna be okay. And that's on period. Do not put yourself in a situation where you're gonna be miserable. Now, sometimes there are things that you can't predict. There are things in people that you're gonna come up because people change. We're not always staying the same. So you keep that in mind. But even with the guy I was just talking to, like the first conversation, it was like, yeah, there'll be things that come up or things that as you get to know people, you'll learn, but everyone should have their deal breakers. You know what I'm saying? Everyone should have their, this is a standard for me. This is what I cannot do. And they're like, oh, well, you're never gonna find out if that person's a great person if you're just looking at that. You doggone right I'm not, because that's how you get trapped. If I know, and this is hypothetical, but if I know I don't wanna have any more children, 100% sure, I don't care how fine you are, I don't care who you are, I don't care, you ain't gonna coerce me into wanting to have more kids, period. Now, like I said, hypothetical. But if I know that about myself and I get with a man that tells me he wants 4 or 5 children, that's all I needed to know. Bye. This was nice. It was nice to meet you. You're very handsome. This was cool. Peace out. And then there are people who will make you feel as though, hey, you didn't give that man a chance. You know what I'm saying? You didn't really find out how great of a person he is, and he'll probably be the main person to, you know, fight for himself. Hey, I'm a really great guy. Why would you stop talking to me just because I want all these children? That's how they get you. Don't get got. Girl, because I've gotten got many a times, but it's like, if that big piece of your life, because having children is a lifestyle, and there are certain deal breakers we have that determine our lifestyle. These are things that can change your daily life on a regular basis. You know, that you would not be happy as a person and not even want to walk into your own home. So no, sir, it's great that you're a great person, but no, I don't really care about that, because one of the main lifestyle choices that I want, you do not align with that. So why would I waste my time with you knowing that we want different things just to say, oh, well, you never know. Oh, he's a great person. Oh, it's fine. We'll work that out later. Later is 2-3 years into the relationship, and now either you're about to get married and that's a deal breaker, or you are married and now you're about to get a divorce because he wants kids and you don't. When you already knew that. Like, if it's a problem at the beginning, regardless of how much you try to put it behind you, it's gonna be a problem later. And I learned that from experience. Listen to yourself. And I personally would not allow anyone to pressure me into getting with a man that's not with my standards. Because before, it wasn't pressure from nobody else, it was pressure from myself. And I walked into it very blindly, and we all saw how that turned out. My good sis says, Maya, I'm 29, single, and I work in customer service. Is it too late to change my career? And she specifically said healthcare. It is never too late to change your career. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I actually was 28 years old when I created my channel. I'm 34 now. A lot of y'all don't actually know that I'm 34. Like, I'm in my mid 30s. And that was very scary for me. I was like, all the girls that are my age are the Jackie Inas, the Shaylas, I Love Sarai. And it was like, I can't start this now, because they were all like living their best lives by then when I started. It was essentially my inspiration, and it felt like the field was oversaturated. I actually got another question about that. If you're scared, if you feel like it's too late for you, if you're starting too late, if you know a field is oversaturated, start now. Because like I said earlier on another question, time is going to pass anyway. You might as well use it to move yourself forward, or you'll be sitting in the exact same spot that you were in 4 or 5 years, 10 years down the line. Had I listened to my mind and been like, oh Maya, you're 28. All the girls that are your age, they've made it already. This is not the lane. We wouldn't be sitting here right now. You know, so don't, especially in your 20s, the world teaches us that we're done in our 20s. Baby, life has not even started yet when you're in your 20s. It has not started. Like, things get way better when you're in your 30s, because at least you got a little money. For some of us. But anyway, y'all, I'm just kikiing with y'all. But anyway, it's not too late, sis. It's not too late. Start now, though. Don't delay. If you had a crush on a guy, your friend knows, but they flirt and belittle you around them. Your friend is either jealous, meaning she thinks that you're pretty and you'll get them, you know what I'm saying, and maybe they don't want you to get them, which means also number 2, they want that man and they don't want you to get that man. I would reevaluate that friendship. I would be looking at her sideways to say, sis, you know that's my man in my head. Why you acting like this? Like, I would support you with your crush. Why would I walk up to your crush and be flirting with him and like looking down upon you, and you would do that to me? I would reevaluate that friendship. That's what I would do. Because back in college, I actually got rid of a friend. It didn't really have anything to do with a man, but she definitely would belittle me around other people. I remember one time in particular, y'all, it was 3 of us. It was me, her, and this other girl. We went to this guy's like house or something, just chilling, college, whatever. And he was like, oh, all 3 of y'all got fire eyebrows. Y'all eyebrows look great. And out of nowhere, for no reason, she was like, oh, well, Maya draws hers on. I was like, why did you feel the need to say that in that moment? Like, what was the point of belittling me and throwing me under the bus in that moment? And within months, we were no longer friends. Like, I ended it for other reasons too, because there were other red flags. But if someone is belittling you, especially in a situation where you like somebody, or it's a situation that can affect you, that's the actual problem. Okay, the next one says, my friend wants to start a business together, but she doesn't have any money. You wanna come in while I finish filming? You can sit over there.
Sure.
Go ahead. We're about to have an audience, y'all. Amir's about to come in and sit while we finish. Okay, it says, my friend wants to start a business together, but she doesn't have much money. Then that needs to stay an idea until she has some money to contribute. I had this happen to me, not with a friend, but with a partner, where they gave me an idea and they're like, hey, I would love to get into this. Let's do this together. I'm like, sure. You know what I'm saying? That's a great idea. Let's do it. But they didn't have no funds for this. They were just throwing it at me as an idea. I was like, hey, let's do it. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do it. But in my mind, I'm like, we're not gonna be able to do this until we both can contribute. But in their mind, they're like, you got the money. Let's go. So I don't look into it because I'm like, it's their idea, whatever. They'll come back to me once they're ready to, you know, whatever. So 2-3 months could go by and they're like, so I feel like you ain't serious. I feel like I threw that idea at you and you didn't do anything about it. Like, you don't care. And I'm just like, let's reevaluate this. I'm the one with the funds for this. You threw it at me but you have nothing to contribute for it. But also, if it's your idea, why aren't you taking the lead on looking into what we're doing? You wanted to throw it at me because you wanted me to look at it, research it, put the money down. And that is very ill-advised. So in this situation, I would 100% like keep it as an idea in the dome, but we're not moving forward with it because you don't have the money for it. And I'm not gonna take your idea and run with it with my own money, because obviously it's gonna be a joint thing, but I 100% would not start it by myself. Because here's the thing, if you start it by yourself with your own money, technically it's yours, and then they're gonna get mad down the line, talking about some, where's my half? You didn't have no money. So let's just wait on it. That's what I would do. I would not go forward with that. Okay, so yeah, here's another one. She said, I'm engaged, and lately I've been having huge doubts, and with prayer, my heart says no, don't do it. I know that's right, Amira. Amira said, period. Don't do it. 100% don't do it. If your heart says no, and you've been praying and that is leaning towards no, then the answer is no. I will say, Amir already knows this, so I'm just gonna say it because Amir's in the room. But when I was engaged, I felt like the answer was no as well, but I ignored it for my own, you know, desires, my own whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been saying during this video, you know, oh, that's fine because this is great. That's really kind of where my mind was at. And so for me, it was to the point where I was having physical reactions to the fact that this should not have happened. And when your heart and your body and the Lord is telling you do not do something, don't do it. Lord, have I learned my lesson. I'm so glad that I have come to the point where I listen to that discernment, because you just never know what God is keeping you from. God sees everything. He sees an entire book where we are only stuck on page 7. You know what I'm saying? We only see one page or one chapter where he sees everything. I believe that God and the Holy Spirit speaks to you through your instincts, that little voice in your head that's telling you, no, don't do this. Don't do it. I believe that's the Holy Spirit. And when, especially if it's your body saying no, if your heart is saying no, listen to it, because you'll probably be saving yourself so much heartache and time and all of these things. Now, I would not dare not listen to my body or listen to that Holy Spirit or listen to that thought, that voice in my head, because it's there for a reason. So sis, if you are engaged and the Lord is saying no and your heart is saying no, the answer is no, because there's a reason why you feel that, and you could be wasting another 4 or 5 years of your life by jumping into that and ignoring that, and then you're gonna start over in 5 years. Wouldn't you much rather start over now? You know what I'm saying? All right, y'all, so we just made it to our last question. I am 3.5 years in, and he's 86, it's very specific, 86% of everything I had on my list, but I find myself wanting to go. I personally, when it comes to, like, you know, we all make the list, you know what I'm saying? Or we see a woman with a great man as far as what we can see, and we'd be like, girl, what was the prayer? What was the list? Like, what was it? So honestly, in this type of situation, sometimes you have to look at what is being given versus what is not being given, and how much that matters to you and your happiness. Are the things that he's lacking that's on my list, are they non-negotiable for me? Do they equate to me being unhappy either now or in the future? Do they not align with the lifestyle that I want, with a desire that I have, with something that is a non-negotiable for me? 3.5 years is a long amount of time, but I've been in a relationship for 3.5 years and I cut it off. It was over, period, done. Because there were things about him that, first of all, he was great. Like, if I look back at my exes, like, he was my favorite ex. Just because we were really great friends, he had he was a great guy. I would even say that me and you, girl, we're on the same wavelength. About 86% of the list, you know? But the things that he was lacking, I was unable to be okay with that. And I knew that that would cause a big problem for me. Like, for example, one of the big things was he refused to say I love you. Though he did love me, as he would say. He wouldn't say it because of his own trauma and things like that. Or even if he did say it, we have to have a discussion of how often we're allowed to say it. Like, let's not say it after every conversation on the phone, but we can say it like when we're about to go to bed, or you know what I'm saying? Like stuff like a schedule. And that was based on his own trauma and his own relationship with that word and verbally saying it. However, I'm a words of affirmation girly. I need you to say all the things to me, especially I love you every time we get off the phone, every time I see you, what kind of conversation is this? And I knew that for me, that's not gonna fly. Though that fit into that 14% of the list, that was a no, you know? And that's not even something that I would think to put on my list, you know, because who has a problem with that? But I just say that to say, I would consider the things that he does not have. Is it a deal breaker for me? And does it equate to me being unhappy now or in the future, period. And I would move on from there. Y'all, that was our last one. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, especially those of you who are watching this on Valentine's Day. It meant a lot to me to be able to provide a video, a fun video, a chill video for you, because once upon a time, though I'm alone on this Valentine's Day as far as not being in a relationship, I'm totally content with that and happy to be loving on myself, loving on my daughter for this holiday. But I remember having a Valentine's Day where I was really sad, or I was feeling really lonely, or feeling like I deserve love, why don't I have anybody, and things like that. And I wanted to make sure I provided a video for those of you who might be feeling that void today to have, if you want to do something by yourself or go out or chill, whatever, and watch this video. I hope that it gives you some kind of happiness and some kind of, you know, contentment within yourself to know you're okay, sis, and you're not alone. You're not alone. And it meant a lot to me to provide this for you guys today. So I love you, sis. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the week, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye, girl.